much for joining us today. My name is Lori Walsh. I am a partner here at Fourlane, and very glad to have this opportunity to spend some time with each of you. So for today's session, we are going to talk over credit card management. But first, for those that are not as familiar with Fourlane, let me go over some areas that make us somewhat unique. We are a value-added reseller for QuickBooks, but in addition, also NetSuite, Xero, and Acumatica. And so why is this important? Well, it does allow us to have more options for you if you are outgrowing QuickBooks, or to allow us to help you determine if you're outgrowing QuickBooks. In addition, we are accountants, so we can make sure that the system is set up for sound reporting, but also help you find ways to maximize QuickBooks and also offer you and your team support for that change management so you can improve your efficiencies and then as well as trust the data that's in your system. All right, a quick reminder, we do have a YouTube channel and Facebook. So if you have missed any of our prior webinars, you can always find those on our YouTube channel, and that's at youtube.com/Fourlane. You can also subscribe to that channel, and that way you'll receive any notifications for new content that's uploaded. If you like the Facebook side, then we also have a Facebook group page, Fourlane QuickBooks Enterprise User Group, and you can actually join that as well. And there's a lot of great questions out there, a lot of information. So it gives us an opportunity to share what we know. One more thing, if you find yourself in need of QuickBooks help, we do have an on-demand support. It is $25 a month per user, up to 5. But if you have over 5, right, then it drops it down to $20. But it does make it really easy. If you have a question, you can just email the support team. They will get back to you many times. It's within the hour. They will they will assess the situation and offer some assistance on how we can get you moving forward. If that is something that you are interested in, just let me know or let us know, and we'll be able to help you get that started. All right, so things that we're gonna go over today is, like I mentioned before, is the credit card management. One of the things is like, why is this helpful? Well, one of the things that we hear a lot from our clients is, how do I help with my month-end closing? How do I make it more efficient? And many times, because we all use credit cards more often, most of us anyway, that's a lot of expenses that are captured there. And if we wait until the statement or until the end of the month, right, there's a lot of stuff going on, and it makes it really hard to get them all done and be efficient there, right? So if we can just go ahead and capture those as they come in, then it makes it a lot easier at the end of the month. So we're going to show you some of the ways that we can do that. All right, if you do happen to have any questions, please feel free to post those in the Slack. Whoops, let me put this back up here. And or not in the Slack, but in the chat, and we'll be happy to answer those as we have time at the end, or we'll try to answer them if we can during the webinar. Okay, so as you can see, I have a sample file open. At least I think you can see that. Alicia, are you able to see my screen, or do you see the other one since it's been moving so much? Okay, perfect.
Very good.
Thank you. All right, so on the credit cards, right, we want to get those started, but there's a couple things we want to do first. First things, we need to go ahead and add to that account. So as you can see, I have my credit cards already set up. If you're not familiar with setting up a new one, let me show you real quick. So if you right click, you can do new, or you can come down here to the bottom and do new. And as long as we choose this credit card type, right, we can go ahead and it'll help us move and get started. All right, so let me get out of that really quick. And the other piece of this, as you can see, I have these little lightning bolts here. That just allows me to connect it to the bank. So if I go here to my bank center here, you can actually see the accounts are connected. I can see those here. I can download the transactions. I'm going to go to the credit card since that's what we're talking about today. I've already got those downloaded. So you can see the transactions will come in here. So this serves twofold, right? As the charges come in every day or whenever the update happens, it shows me what my expenses are if I have those credit cards, even if we have corporate cards where there's different people that own them or have them, we can see those charges come in. Okay, so if they have not submitted those receipts, this will give me that heads up, hey, I've got some stuff coming, right? And it allows us to post those expenses at the time. And then as we go through this with the receipt management side of it, then you can actually attach those receipts to the transactions. Just makes it easier, especially for doing job costing or any of that sort of thing, to keep up with those. Okay, so let's move into that. So after, let me close these out real quick. Okay, so as you come up here to the vendor side, and you can see we have this receipt management field in here. And as this pulls up, there's a couple of things that we'll kind of go over briefly, and then we'll spend more time in the one that we're going to talk about today. But we can browse to upload. So if somebody is sending those to us in an email, for instance, right, we don't want it to get stuck in that email, so we can go ahead and save it to whatever drive we are saving it, but then we can actually browse it or browse that location to upload that receipt. If I have a Google Drive, I can do it there as well. Now on the email receipt, so if we have certain vendors that send those in to us directly, for instance, I can create a special custom name email that it will allow us to send those bills or receipts into QuickBooks directly. Okay, and it allows us to do the somewhat like the bank feed, right, where we can post it to the correct account and that sort of thing. But it is unique. You won't be able to change it once you put it in there. So you just have to reuse it and let your vendors know. I can snap on mobile, which is what we're going to talk about more today, but it allows you to get that QuickBooks desktop app, put it on your phone or tablet, and it does allow for most phones or tablets there, as well as setting up our users. Now these users are going to be different than the users we have in QuickBooks. So you can have, like, if we have like our accounting team, right, that are already in QuickBooks Desktop, then we can go ahead and set them up and allow them mobile access too if they need to have the card where they can go ahead and snap their receipts, or if they're going out and doing like shopping for the company and they're using a corporate account, they can go ahead and snap it. This would be the one that we would give them. It does allow them, as you can see, side by side, more opportunity here for transactions, whereas the mobile app is just being able to upload the receipts. One thing to note whenever we are, and this is whether we're doing the mobile app or the desktop and mobile app, you will have, each user will need to have an Intuit account, again, separate from their login on the QuickBooks, but it allows us to use their email address. We can set them up with certain permissions, and as you can see from whenever we click in here, you can go basic user, which is what I would set most of my team out in the field with, but if it is somebody that we need to have a backup, I can add a secondary admin, right? See, it went ahead and assigned it to basic user, but I also have, if I need somebody in the payroll side. So it gives us some flexibility on that. All right, now, as you can see, I do have a couple of things already in here, and they say that there's a match found. This is good in that when we do go ahead and if somebody has already submitted a receipt and we've already posted it, it's going to tell me that. So let me show you. So if I go in and review this one, it's telling me that it's already found the match, right? And there's my receipt. I had already submitted this one. So if I go to Walmart, for instance, and let's just look at that, this is the one that's 143. Now, mind you, this is still sitting here. It hasn't moved over. But when I go to my vendor center and I look at Walmart, I can see that 141 right here. And if I see how it attached, and if I go and look at that, that's my one for materials. So it flagged me and it won't let me add it twice. So that's a good checks and balance feature, which is good. But for us today, I'm going to go ahead and show you how we can get a new one in here. So I am going to move so I have my phone here. So I'm going to go ahead and move that over here so that you can see it. As you can see, the app is very easy visually to see. I'm going to click on receipt. Okay, it's going to take us to that first menu. Now this does give us access to our phone, I'm sorry, for the camera on our phone, right? So that if that is something you're uncomfortable with, you need to talk to your leadership team. But I'm going to go ahead and click on this snap receipt. It's going to go to my camera here in just a second. And I have a receipt sitting here for Lowe's, so let's go ahead and snap that picture here. Now it is going to take it a second. There we go. It's going to ask us, do we want to use it, which is good because that way if it's not very clear, right, we have the option to retake. I'm going to go ahead and use that one. So now it's going to take a minute to give me the name and a memo line. Now one thing I do recommend is that on our image that we go ahead and put some sort of image description in there, whether it's, let's go with Lowe's. Whether it's a date, whether it's a name, maybe it's a job, something along that line, because if you do, it does keep these for us so that we can actually come back and if we need to see them again, right? Maybe one of them didn't make it through, it didn't upload all the way, whatever. It'll keep them in our sent list, and we'll be able to either resend them or just verify that, hey, I already took care of that one. But by renaming them some sort of a unique name, it makes it easier for us, right, to go back and see it. It also makes it easier on the other side. All right, so let's do that. And then I can add a note here. So if I have a job, and I'm going to go ahead and use this one for, I think it's Mike Balick. I can't remember all of it, but I can at least put enough information in there for the accounting team to be able to know what it's for. By putting that job in there. If there was something that I was doing right that was a special, like I had to pick up something special for the team because of a surprise, or maybe we had to pick up supplies, whatever it is, you can put up to 1,000 characters in this box. So I'm going to go ahead and upload. It will take it just a few seconds just because it's just putting it out there. I am going to go ahead and wait for that. If it does go ahead and upload, you do get a notification the upload was successful. But if it wasn't, it will also tell you that. So it's not a guessing game, right? It'll go ahead and let you know. All right, as we wait for that, there we go. There's our receipt uploaded success note there. And it does give you some information as to where to find it when you get back to QuickBooks, okay? I think that's helpful. I'm gonna go ahead and say okay. Now, as I mentioned before, you can see down here at the bottom where it says view your uploaded receipts. This is my list of the receipts that I have already submitted. Okay, it also gives me the image, so that way I can make sure I am sending them in as they happen. So this serves a couple of things. Biggest one, I don't know if any of you have ever grabbed a receipt and it's been crumpled up and now you can't read it, or maybe you can't find it, right? And you have to go back, either try to find it in your email or whatever. This is easy, right? We can snap a picture at the time the transaction occurs, and then you don't have to worry about it anymore. All right, now I'm going to go ahead and move this over here, get it out of the way. Now, as you can see, I still don't have my receipt. So all I have to do here is go ahead and double click on that to refresh my screen, and there it is. Now, as you can see, it definitely looks different than the other two, and that's because it couldn't find it. So there's my note, right, that I can go ahead and do something with this. Now, if I go here to review, it's going to take me to the transaction, which is where we're going to go in a minute. I have the option to delete or to go ahead and move it to the bill. For us, we're going to review so I can walk you through what this looks like. Now, it tries to fill in as much information as it can find. So as you can see, it went ahead and it captured the Lowe's on here, it captured the amount, and it captured the date. It couldn't find the bank, which is because we don't have that, but we have that ability to come down here, and because I know it was done out in the field, it's my field crew, so I'm going to go ahead and add that. But here is where I can actually come in and say I can apply it right to an actual expense. and it gives me the option here of what I want to do. Now this one, I know it was for the drip systems. I can also put a class in there if I need to. And here, this is where my note comes in, because now I know this is actually going to hit this job. And so when I hit save, that is going to apply that amount to the job, okay? So I can come back up, make sure everything's there. If I need to do more, I can move my image around so I can see it. But again, it's filling in most of this for me, so it makes it a little bit easier. A few clicks, right, are always a time saver. So I'm going to go ahead and save this to my register. Can't find the vendor, so in this case, I'm going to go ahead and create it. Normally they would be there possibly, but since it is a credit card, it's not unusual. Sometimes we go through this with clients too on whether to add it or just create, a credit card vendor. That is definitely something we can assist with. Anyway, I have my success. It's been added. So from here, if I go and when I hit save, it's gone, right? So we can come over here and let's go see what happens on the vendor side. All right, so if I look at Lowe's, there's my credit card charge. When I come in here, I can see it attached my receipt to the charge. It moved all of my information in there from the transaction. I can add a reference if I need to, but as I go in here, there's my Lowe's receipt. Okay, so that makes it super, super easy. But for the accounting team and for leadership, or if we have job costing that we need to see, the advantage here is when I go in here and I look at my profit and loss by job. Okay, and let me go ahead. I'm just going to do this for all because I don't recall the date that I put that one in there for. Let's refresh this one. So if I look here at Balic and I'm looking at all of my stuff, if I go down here, double click, there's my credit card charge. So it will actually hit the date that the receipt was, we billed it, or it was billed at, right? So whatever day we bought it. But when we're doing these as real time, where that it's coming in, it is going to make a big difference on our P&L, and that we can see them, right, as we go. So if we're trying to keep up with our expenses by job, this is crucial because I know now when I go back to my P&L, right, for this particular job, I already have these expenses in there, right? So I can see them across the board, okay? I can also come back in and let's say that as I'm looking at this one, right, that there's more things. So maybe if it was a situation where this was an actual inventory item, right, I can come in here and instead of applying this to the expense, which is hard to see, instead of applying it to that expense, right, I can also apply it to items. So if I am buying specific inventory parts for a job, right, I can come in here and I can change it and apply it to, or add it, right? I can put it to that non-inventory part, inventory part, whatever it is that I have. And that way, right, your inventory will be impacted the way it should. You're not having to make a lot of journal entries because we don't like journal entries to inventory accounts. But it allows you to attach that credit card charge to the items, as well as in the case for the one we did where we applied it to the actual account. Whichever direction we go, as long as we have our customer job attached, then it will show up on our job report. So again, a big win on the accounting side, because that way they're not having to chase you down. You're not having to find the transactions, right? You're not having to find the receipts. So it just makes it a win-win across the board. Another advantage is now that I have these charges in there, when I come up here to my banking and I try to reconcile, let's just use this one since that's the one that we did. I'm just going to go ahead and put a 0 in here, but you can actually see those charges here. So the expenses are accounted for by the job, the expenses are accounted for by If we don't have jobs and we just need to know where our expenses are for the month, we've already got that. But the other advantage at month end is that it makes it much easier to reconcile our accounts, because all of those transactions are in here already. And if I need to make a partial payment, let's say cash flow is tight because I have all these jobs in progress, right? And I have all the expenditures to get those jobs moving, I can make a smaller amount and I can reconcile this to the statement, instead of where many of our clients, we see a lot, they try to take that payment and expense it out, as opposed to taking it transaction by transaction. So that makes it a little bit, well, or some cases, if you have a large number of transactions, it makes it a lot easier to manage. All right, so then coming back over here, let's go back to our receipt management. So I still have these two. So these are actually duplicates. So what I can do here, now obviously we want to make sure that we are verifying that it is an actual duplicate. But I did on one of these, and I did double check. If you manually put marks on it and change it, it doesn't matter. It's still picking up what it reads off the receipt, and so it's still marked it as a duplicate. So here, all I have to do is come in here. I can delete that receipt. It's going to double check and make sure that's what I want to do. When I say yes, it's gone. Okay, now again, those on the phone or the app, let's say that we deleted the wrong one. We can always come back here to our list and we can always resubmit. All right. So Alicia, did we have any questions so far? I didn't see any.
I've actually answered them and responded back, and one that was a great, like just to touch on the ones that we've had, so everybody on the webinar can be up to speed as well. So on the credit card transaction, where you should, like, the item tab can be used as well, not just the expense tab. Like, that was a great question. And then just making sure that everyone understands, like, what Lori is showing today is QuickBooks Enterprise 2023. We are not showing anything in QuickBooks Online. So that is definitely a complete different view.
Good point.
And this webinar just focuses on QuickBooks Enterprise.
Very good point. Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you for that.
Yeah, we do have one that just came in.
Okay.
And that question is, how does the employee who doesn't have QuickBooks login know if they already submitted from their phone?
Oh, okay. If I understand the question, but let me go back. So I'm going to move my phone back over here. So when we snap the receipt, it gives us that whoops, it's down on there. So when we snap the receipt, it gives us the notification from here that it went through. It's the accounting side that will come back and say if there's any questions. So you won't be able to actually see it in QuickBooks. What you will, oops, sorry, let me get this back. What you will see is your receipts that you've actually uploaded in your receipts list. I think that answers the question, but if not, let me know.
Awesome.
Okay. And the reason that it makes it easier in that case is because we just want them to send the receipts, right? We don't necessarily need everybody to have access to QuickBooks. So it just makes it easier on the accounting team, or those that actually have, let me move this over, those that actually have the, let me see if I have that, yes, access to this screen, they'll be the ones that are actually able to manage it. And then if it is a purchase order, let me see if I can get one of these up. So let me go back to do I have my vendor center open? I do. So let's just look at this one. So if I need to do that to the purchase order, we will have to do that just a little bit different, because we'll have to actually apply it to the purchase order at the receipt and show that it's a credit card payment, just a little bit different, okay? I have not actually applied it to the purchase order from here because I didn't have one in here, but you're going to do it very similarly in that you're going to just take the receipt and mark it on the purchase order. Let me see if I can do that in here by selecting it from here. Like I said, I don't have any open, but you'd just be able to click here and tie it to that one. Okay. I know we're getting close on time. Do we have any other questions in there, Alicia?
Yep, last one.
Okay.
And that follow up to and you did answer the question about the QuickBooks login. Just they wanted to make sure that employees wouldn't be able to like submit, same receipt 20 times, right?
Right. Well, and that's where this
question there.
I'm sorry, didn't mean to do that. That's where this comes in. Yeah, it blocks it.
And then the last one, which I am so proud of everyone asking these great questions.
Mm-hmm.
What is the name of the app to load receipts?
Okay. It is the QuickBooks desktop app, but let me show you. So if I come in here, oops, not that one. Actually, I was on the right screen. There we go. Here we go. It's the QuickBooks desktop in the App Store. And it looks very similar to the other ones. I mean, I have so many apps on my phone, but you can see it from here. It's this one right here is the one I was using, the one in this top corner. So it just has the little QB in the screen.
And one last question coming in is this new to Enterprise 23?
So part of it started in 21, right? And it's been building. So the receipt feature that we demonstrated today, as Alicia said, we're doing it in 23. So there are some pieces of it that you can do in 21, but what we showed today is all 23. Because the app came out, I think, in 21. I'd have to confirm that.
It's 21 or 22, yeah.
20, yeah.
Awesome. Well, I think we have 1 minute left. And so great job, Lori.
Thank you. So the next 2 weeks, one of them we're going to cover in next week, I believe, is the purpose of estimates. So that'll be a good one to join. And then the week after that is construction over under. So those are going to be great to participate in. Love to hear the questions there as well. And if there's anything that you would like to learn that maybe we haven't covered yet, or maybe we have covered but not in the detail that you want, please reach out and let us know so we can add that to our list, and so we can actually start adding that. Helps just get that content out there for you to be able to utilize. All right. Well, if no more questions, I can go ahead and let everybody go. Thank you so much for joining us today. Thank you, Alicia.